Hello all, welcome to a new Copilot episode. Today we are going to look into a newly released feature. It's a multifile edit, or we call it as Copilot edits. How we can edit multiple files at once based on our requirements. So let us go and explore this new feature. Copilot edits or multifile edits can be invoked from the newly introduced Copilot menu at the top of the VS Code. You can click on Copilot menu and click on Open Copilot Edits. This one way. Or if you are in the chat, you have this icon on top indicating Copilot Edits. These are the two ways you can open the Copilot edits or multifile edits. It's right now in preview. Let us start exploring how we can use this multifile edit. Start with a simple scenario of editing my property controller API. Most of the time we deals with the existing code. We may need some kind of changes. For example, the property controller is defined on top of this property entity with a couple of fields available here. I need to add a new field and introduce that as part of the API as well. So two files I am looking at right now, property entity and the corresponding controller. If you have a multiple other files, you can include that as well. Currently, we are going to update these two files in parallel with our requirements. The first step is to add all the required files here. By default, the existing file will be added as contextual element. You can add extra files if required. So right now, we are going to handle two files, the property entity as well as property controller. So let me go ahead and ask Copilot to modify the property controller and entity. Add a new parameter for property location. So I am going to add a new parameter, property location, into the entity and define a new method to return properties based on location. So based on the newly added field, I want to return the properties. So there are two updates. One needs to be in the property entities where I need to add a new field, and based on that I need to update the property controller as well. So let us see how Copilot came up with the changes. If I go to property entities, you can see that it start adding this location as part of the constructor. You can see the first constructor received the location. Similarly, the second constructor also received the location property and it's defined down here. So there are three changes as part of the property entities right now. Now let us go to the controller, what kind of changes it's done. As we requested for a new method which needs to be returned based on location, it's added that method here and linked to the proper field, that is location field, which is defined in property entities. So you can review the code base, the changes. If it looks fine, these two changes looks fine for me, then you can go ahead and accept or you can discard it. So let me just accept it, which accept the changes in both files. Here location and here the newly added get by location method as well. So this is a simple example how you can add multiple files in a go. And if you want to revise it further, I can go ahead and revise it again. For example, let me revise it saying location should be either USA or India. Add validations and entity level and API accordingly. So I just added a constraint and constrained on this newly added field. The location should be only 2 values it should accept. So let us see how it's going to update it. So property entity angle, it used a data annotation, and let me see any other. Yeah, here regular expression is applied. The location should be USA or IND. In case it is not, the error message is coming here. That's an update that is coming from data annotations component, that is also added properly. And coming to the property controller angle, you have the validation here in case the model state is not valid. Remember, here in the post case, post is the place where we are entering a new property. When you enter a new property, the model state should be valid, indicating that this particular constraint or regular expression based validation should be applied, and if it is valid, then only save this new property details. It's taken care of that. In return case, there is no need to validate, so there is no update for other methods. Only post method have the update. So you can go ahead and accept or discard here again. Let me just accept it. I have done the accept right now. So the changes are applied properly right now with the location validation in place. The beauty of this one is, in case I want to revert to the previous one, I have saved the changes already, but I want to go back to the previous step. I have the option to revert this one. As you can observe, the last edit can be undo. So let me just click on that last edit area that indicate that you can see that the chat itself is modified. That last edit is removed completely here, and if I go here, the location doesn't have the required field validator, or the enforcement of USA and India constraint is not there, and the corresponding import statement, the data annotation is removed. Similarly, for the post, we added one of the model state validation that is also reverted. So you can quickly revert the things by using this undo and redo elements. So let me try to redo it. This one is done. I done the undo of the one step. Let me try to redo the step. So data annotation is added and the regular expression came in picture. Similarly, the model validation is there in the picture. So all the changes is applied right now. Once you complete the changes, even the chat is updated with the second update, that is a location should be either USA or India constraint is added here. Once everything is done, you can press on done. That complete configuration or conversation is completed. Let us try another scenario which include multiple files. The objective is for generating a controller based on this schema. The owner details schema is available here. Based on this, I need to generate a owner controller. Right now owner controller is blank. I'm going to generate using Copilot edits. So I need to pass all these things, and property entities needs to be updated with a new entity, and I am planning to add some validators as well. So let us start adding all the files here. So we need DB script, entities, owner controller and validators. In case we need to refer the property controller, we can add it. Right now we need only these 4 elements. Now I am asking Copilot to generate the entity and APIs for owner schema, add validations for owners, email and phone number. These are the elements required. So let us see how Copilot is going to construct the owner controller and the property entity modification validators based on DB script. So DB script is the reference point here. There is no modification expected in the DB script. Let us see how the Copilot is going to suggest it. So start with owner controller. You have the owner controller defined with a get, post and put. All the methods are applied here. And the corresponding entity should be there in properties. Property entities, owner details are added as a DB set and the corresponding entity is available here. If you look at the entity, it's exactly matching this schema. Now there are required field validators for email and the phone numbers. Let us see whether any validations are added here. As of now, there is no validation because it's automatically done using regular expression on top of here itself. So right now I will accept this. Later we will move this validations into validators.cs. So I'm going ahead and accepting everything. So you have the property entities, controllers, no change in DB script, owner controller is the new one. Let us refine it. Move all validations into validators.cs file instead of entity. So let us see how Copilot is going to help me to modify the property entity and validators, these two areas. The modification is done. Let us see. Here it's removed this one. Instead of that it said validator from validators and that should be taken here. Utils are added here. So let me here email validator and phone number validator based on validation attribute. These two are added, that internally taken into account and added as part of the email and phone number fields. So this is how you can use the multifile edit or Copilot edits to modify multiple files at once. And obviously you have the option to redo, undo and everything so that you can go back to the previous change quickly. Instead of looking at each of the file where we did the change and modifying, you can just click on undo to modify all the changes associated with one particular requirement. It can be multiple file or a single file edits. Everything will be reverted back to the previous stage. Go ahead and try out this amazing feature of multiple file edit using Copilot. Thank you.